In the 17th century, there was a village named Ayegbaju in the western region of the Old Oyo Empire. The villagers lived happily in peace and tranquility until a sudden event took over their loving village. It was the rise of a young boy with his heart heavy and filled with vow for revenge over the death of his father, who was gruesomely killed with serious beatings in his presence at the palace of the king by the king's soldiers after being forcefully accused of theft. Jagunmolu vowed to avenge the death of his father on the entire village and promises himself to never trust the authorities. Jagunmolu, the terror of Ayegbaju. Jagunmolu began learning survival skills in the forest, going through different stages of learning as he also went to learn the mastering of archery, swordsmanship and stealth in the wilderness. He also went ahead to fortify himself with different spiritual powers from different sources, getting ready on his mission for revenge. Jagunmolu's first act was the robbery of a small market in the village. While sellers and buyers were busy buying and selling in the market, Jagunmolu and his boys suddenly invaded the market, beating the marketers up and stealing their foods, supplies and collecting all their valuables, leaving the traders bewildered. The news of the robbery going on has reached the whole town, which made Jagunmolu and his boys had a small confrontational fight with the town guards, escaping easily with his loots. After the first attempt, Jagunmolu started stealing more frequently, becoming well known across Ayegbaju. This made the villagers and traders grow cautious. Jagunmolu's matter became the talk of the town as leaders in the town discussed the growing threat of Jagunmolu, unsure of how to stop him. In order to become more stronger and fearful, Jagunmolu decided to bring into his team a powerful herbalist who provides offering potions and charms to protect Jagunmolu and his men. While performing some charms for Jagunmolu, the herbalist applied some herbs on his body, saying, "Today you have become an elephant. Any animal who faces an elephant in battle always fails. May all your enemies fail. He says in Yoruba. At the palace, the Kabiyesi of Ayegbaju was boiling in anger as he addresses his chiefs. "What are all of you looking at that this thief called Jagunmolu keeps terrorizing us?" Kabiyesi said. "Chiefs, Kabiyesi, we are not just looking, Your Highness. We promise we are seriously on top of the matter and very soon we shall come out victorious." Kabiyesi called upon the head of the warriors and ordered the capture of Jagunmolu and his men anywhere they are found. On hearing this, Jagunmolu tricks the royal warriors into an ambush, defeating them in a bloody confrontation. As Jagunmolu becomes bolder, lawlessness begins to spread in the town. Traders are afraid to leave their homes. The chiefs of Ayegbaju hired a famed assassin to bring Jagunmolu and his team down, but Jagunmolu stylishly kills the assassin and brought him down, solidifying his invisible reputation. Jagunmolu, despite being a thief, starts distributing some of his spoils to the poor. Some villagers see him as an hero. The Oba is enraged and embarrassed by his inability to stop Jagunmolu. One evening, a wealthy merchant was coming into the village for business. Jagunmolu, hearing about this, leads a violent raid on the wealthy merchant's caravan, killing several people and leaving many injured. Jagunmolu and his men took away the merchant's goods and valuables. The fear of Jagunmolu reaches new heights as he begins attacking more frequently and with increasing brutality. A legendary warrior from a neighboring town, Arogundade, is called to defeat Jagunmolu. Jagunmolu, hearing this, laughs off the idea that anyone can defeat him. Arogundade and Jagunmolu meet in a brief skirmish, both testing each other's skills. Jagunmolu narrowly escapes. The herbalist, who works directly with Jagunmolu, warns him that his power will not protect him forever if he continues down this path. Despite the warning, Jagunmolu dismisses the dangers and grows more reckless. A member of Jagunmolu's group betrays him, offering to help the king's warriors in exchange for a pardon, which led to Jagunmolu's team failing a robbery for the first time due to the internal conflicts. Jagunmolu discovers the traitor and kills him in a sorrowful manner, but the seeds of distrust are sown in his group. Villagers who once admired Jagunmolu now fear and hate him for his cruelty. Arogundade devises a clever plan to draw Jagunmolu out of Eden. One of Jagunmolu's most trusted lieutenants is captured by Arogundade. Jagunmolu must decide whether to rescue his ally or stay hidden. All Jagunmolu's attempts to rescue his lieutenant goes wrong, and many of his men are killed. For the first time, Jagunmolu retreats, wounded and weakened. Arogundade declares a small victory as Jagunmolu's forces begin to diminish. Villagers, emboldened by Arogundade's success, begin fighting back against Jagunmolu's men. Jagunmolu feels his control slipping. It starts questioning his motives and goals. Jagunmolu retreats deeper into the forest, isolated and abandoned by many of his followers. Despite the setbacks, Jagunmolu gathers a small but loyal group of men for one last stand. Jagunmolu decides to attack Ayegbaju directly, believing that taking the town will restore his power. The herbalist warns Jagunmolu again that if he continues, his downfall is certain. Jagunmolu, blinded by pride, ignores the warning and sends his herbalist away. Jagunmolu and his men prepare for a large-scale attack on Ayegbaju. Arogundade anticipates Jagunmolu's next move and rallies the town's warriors. Both sides prepare for the inevitable clash. Tensions build as the town braces for the attack. Jagunmolu delivers his passionate speech to his men, urging them to fight for glory and survival. Jagunmolu's forces march on Ayegbaju, setting fire to the town's outskirts. Arogundade leads a counter-attack, defending the town with tactical brilliance. Jagunmolu fights fiercely, but Arogundade's forces are well prepared. Arogundade's strategic planning begins to pay off as Jagunmolu's forces are overwhelmed. One of Jagunmolu's closest comrades falls in battle, devastating him. Jagunmolu and Arogundade finally meet in a fierce sword fight. Arogundade delivers a critical blow to Jagunmolu, wounding him badly. Bleeding and broken, Jagunmolu retreats once again, this time knowing he lost the war. Ayegbaju celebrates as Arogundade is hailed as the hero who saved the town. Jagunmolu, hidden in the forest, reflects on his choices. He realizes the cost of his ambition. the herbalist of the Jagunmolu's team, visits him one last time, offering him a chance of redemption through spiritual cleansing. Jagunmolu refuses, choosing instead to die as the feared outlaw he became. The king rewards Arogundade with wealth and honors, officially naming him the protector of Ayegbaju. Arogundade, today you have saved Ayegbaju and restored honor to this kingdom. As a sign of my gratitude, you shall be rewarded with lands, wealth, and a place in my court. Arogundade, bowing slightly, I thank you, Kabiyesi, but this victory is not mine alone. The people stood with me. It is their will that carried us through. The people celebrate Arogundade's victory, and peace seems to have returned to the town. Jagunmolu, though severely wounded and weakened, refuses to surrender. With his few remaining loyalists, he plans one last desperate raid to reclaim his lost glory. This time, he sets his sights on the royal palace itself. Jagunmolu, addressing his last remaining loyalist, this is our final stand. Tonight, we remind them who we are. No one in Ayegbaju sleeps peacefully while I still breathe. The palace is weak and the king hides behind his walls. We will strike at the heart, Jagunmolu said. But Jagunmolu, we are few and the king's warriors are many. Is this battle worth our lives? A loyalist said. Jagunmolu, my father's blood calls for vengeance. I will not die quietly. Follow me if you have the courage, or leave me to fight alone. Sensing that Jagunmolu may strike again, Arogundade orders increased security around the palace. He knows Jagunmolu won't go down quietly. Arogundade addressing the warriors. Jagunmolu won't give up easily. He's too proud to accept defeat. Double the guards, secure the palace gates. We must be ready for anything. Commander, but the town is celebrating, sir. Do you truly believe he will strike again? Arogundade, that man is like a wounded animal. His heart is most dangerous when cornered. Trust me, he will come. In the dead of the night, Jagunmolu and a small band sneak into the palace grounds. Despite their little numbers, they use stealth and cunning to bypass the guards entering the palace. Jagunmolu finally stands before the king. It's a tense moment as the king, who had once ruled over Jagunmolu's family, now faces the man he turned into a monster. Jagunmolu, sword drawn, staring at the king. Kabiyesi Ayegbaju, do you remember me? He said. Do you remember what your men did to my father? Kabiyesi, visibly shaking, backing away. Jagunmolu, Jagunmolu, your father was a thief. He brought his death upon himself. Jagunmolu, furious. Liar! You branded him a thief to cover your own greed. You murdered him and turned me into this. You created the terror that stands before you now. You choose this path. You choose to steal, to kill, to destroy. Do not blame me for the monster you became. Jagunmolu, with cold rage, you are the true monster. I am only your reflection, Kabiyesi. Killing me will not change the past, Jagunmolu. It will only plunge Ayegbaju into more chaos. Jagunmolu, raising his sword, chaos is all you deserve. Just as Jagunmolu raises his weapon to kill the king, Arogundade arrives with his soldiers. A final confrontation between Jagunmolu and Arogundade begins. Despite his wounds and exhaustion, Jagunmolu fights with all the strength he has left. The two warriors clash in a brutal, desperate battle. Arogundade, stepping into the throne room, Jagunmolu, enough! This ends now. Jagunmolu, without looking away from the king, Arogundade, you are a fool if you think you can save this kingdom. It's already rotting from the inside. Arogundade, maybe so, but your way only feeds the rot. Step away from the king and face me. Jagunmolu, cycling Arogundade, you think you are the hero, don't you? The righteous warrior who defends the weak, but there's no difference between us. I was once like you. Arogundade, calm but resolute. No, Jagunmolu, the difference is that I fight to protect and you fight to destroy. Jagunmolu lunging, I fight to survive. They clash violently, the sound of metal ringing through the hall. Arogundade, breathing heavily, backing a blow. It doesn't have to end like this, he said. Jagunmolu swinging his blade. It already has, he replied. Despite his wounds and exhaustion, Jagunmolu fights with all the strength he has left. The two warriors clash in a brutal, desperate battle. Jagunmolu is finally overpowered by Arogundade as he lies dying. Jagunmolu looks around at the palace, realizing that his quest for revenge has cost him everything: his father's memory, his followers, and even his humanity. With his dying breath, Jagunmolu tells Arogundade, "This could have been you." Arogundade is left wondering the fine line between heroism and villainy. Jagunmolu, collapsing, blood pouring from his wounds. You think you have won, Arogundade, but I am not the real enemy. This kingdom, the corruption, it will destroy you too. Arogundade, kneeling beside him, your fight was never with me, Jagunmolu. It was with yourself. Jagunmolu, grasping for breath, this could have been you, and you would have been standing where I am now, Jagunmolu said. Arogundade, maybe, but I still choose differently. Jagunmolu, with his last breath, we are not so different, Arogundade. Arogundade softly said to Jagunmolu, rest now, Jagunmolu, your war is over. The king in the palace, visibly shaken by the events, reflects on his role in Jagunmolu's tragic downfall. Though he doesn't publicly admit his mistakes, he privately acknowledges that his corrupt rule contributed to the chaos. Arogundade is celebrated as the savior of Ayegbaju, but Jagunmolu's last words haunt him. He wonders if he could have become like Jagunmolu under different circumstances. Jagunmolu's body is taken to the outskirts of the town. The townspeople refuse to bury him in the sacred grounds, fearing his spirits. Instead, a small group of villagers, secretly sympathetic to his cause, bury him in the forest. Though Jagunmolu is dead, his name continues to inspire fear. Parents tell stories of him to scare children into obedience, turning him into a mythical figure. The Jagunmolu's herbalist in the team, having foreseen Jagunmolu's downfall, leaves Ayegbaju. She vanishes into the forest, her fate unknown, but whispers of her magic linger for years. Arogundade, uncomfortable with his newfound fame and haunted by the blood he spilled, leaves Ayegbaju. He journeys to distant lands, seeking peace and redemption. With Jagunmolu gone, Ayegbaju slowly rebuilds. The market reopens and life returns to normal, though the scars of Jagunmolu's reign remain. Years pass and a new generation grows up, hearing the legends of Jagunmolu. To some, he is a villain, to others, a hero who stood against a corrupt king. Jagunmolu becomes a symbol of rebellion for oppressed people across the region. His story is told in songs and folktales, evolving over time into something greater than the man he once was. In the forest where Jagunmolu was buried, his grave is overgrown and forgotten by the world, but in the distance, the shadow of a young boy, perhaps inspired by the legend, can be seen, watching as if ready to to take up the mansion. Jagunmolu.